One fateful evening, a well-loved young woman vanished without a trace, leaving behind only a trail of questions and a growing sense of fear. What began as a missing persons case soon spiraled into a horrifying tale of betrayal, rage, and murder that would shock the nation. This is the story of Emily Parker, a vibrant, caring soul whose life was stolen far too soon. How did a night of promises and plans turn into a brutal tragedy? Let's find out. Emily Parker was only 25 years old, but her life was already filled with passion and purpose. Born and raised in a small town in Ohio, Emily was a beloved teacher at a local elementary school. She had a natural ability to connect with children, guiding them with patience and care, always striving to help them reach their full potential. Her warm smile and gentle spirit made her a favorite among her students, parents, and colleagues alike. Emily was also deeply involved in her community. She volunteered at the local animal shelter, spent weekends helping organize charity events, and was the first to lend a hand to anyone in need. Outside of work, Emily had big dreams. She had just gotten engaged to her high school sweetheart, Michael, and the two were planning their wedding. Life seemed to be falling into place for Emily, but in the blink of an eye, everything changed. On the evening of May 13th, Emily was preparing for a quiet evening at home. She had just finished grading papers and was looking forward to a peaceful night in with Michael. They had plans to discuss wedding details and unwind after a busy week. However, by the time Michael returned home around 11:30 p.m., Emily was nowhere to be found. The door was left unlocked. Her purse was on the kitchen table, but her phone and keys were missing. There were no signs of forced entry, no indication that she had left voluntarily, and no explanation for her sudden disappearance. Her car was gone. Michael, frantic and confused, immediately called the police. But despite a swift response from law enforcement, there were no clues, no leads. Emily had simply vanished, leaving the community in shock and disbelief. Her family, friends, and students were all left wondering, what happened to Emily Parker? The investigation began immediately. Detectives retraced Emily's steps from the day before, speaking with family, friends, and colleagues. At first, they thought it might be a case of a simple disappearance, perhaps a misunderstanding or a temporary absence. But as hours turned into days, the police began to suspect something far more sinister. Emily's fiancé, Michael, was the first to be questioned. He was clearly distressed, but the police soon realized that his alibi checked out. There was no sign of him being involved in her disappearance. The investigation took a turn when authorities checked Emily's phone records and discovered a chilling detail. Her last phone call was made to a man named Jason Miller, a former boyfriend from her past. Jason had reached out to Emily just hours before she went missing, asking to meet. Emily had turned him down, but her phone call to him indicated something unusual. Why had she chosen to speak with him the night she disappeared? As the investigation unfolded, the police learned more about Emily's history with Jason. The two had dated during high school, but their relationship ended badly when Jason became possessive and controlling. Emily had cut ties with him years ago, but there were reports from mutual friends that he had never quite gotten over her. Jason's behavior had been erratic, and he had reportedly tried to reach out to her multiple times, but Emily had always refused. The police also discovered that on the night of her disappearance, Jason had been seen near her apartment complex. However, when they tried to interview him, Jason was nowhere to be found. He had disappeared without a trace, and the police quickly realized they had a suspect on their hands. Days passed, and the investigation grew colder. Then, a breakthrough came from an unexpected source: surveillance footage. A neighbor had security cameras, and after reviewing the footage, it was revealed that Emily's car was seen parked near a secluded area outside town around the same time she disappeared. There, it appeared someone had been walking away from the car. Police also examined the footage from a gas station nearby. The video showed Jason Miller, wearing a hooded sweatshirt, fueling up his car in the early hours of May 14th. His presence in the area just hours after Emily vanished raised alarms, and it was clear that Jason was involved. Forensic analysis of Emily's car uncovered a small but significant clue. A strand of hair was found in the back seat, not belonging to Emily. The DNA matched Jason Miller. As the investigation into Jason deepened, detectives discovered that his mental state had deteriorated over the years. He had a history of anger issues, and his obsession with Emily had grown increasingly unhealthy after their breakup. The final straw came when Emily announced her engagement to Michael. This news, it seemed, had pushed Jason over the edge. In his interviews with the police, Jason became increasingly agitated. He denied any involvement in Emily's disappearance, but his story kept changing. Finally, after hours of interrogation, he broke down and confessed. Jason admitted that on the night of May 13th, he went to Emily's apartment to confront her. What started as a heated argument over their past relationship turned violent. Jason snapped, and in a fit of rage, he attacked Emily, killing her in a moment of blind jealousy. He then disposed of her body in a remote area and tried to cover his tracks, hoping no one would ever find her. The police immediately went to the area where Emily's car had been found. After a thorough search, they discovered her body in a shallow grave. It was clear that Jason had tried to conceal his crime, but the forensic evidence and his confession left no room for doubt. Jason Miller was arrested and charged with first-degree murder. During his trial, his defense attorney argued that he had been suffering from mental health issues, but the prosecution insisted that his actions were premeditated and driven by jealousy. After a lengthy trial, Jason was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. While Emily's family was devastated by her loss, they found some comfort in knowing that justice had been served. Her memory lived on through the lives she had touched, her students, her friends, and her community, all of whom continued to honor her legacy. Emily's tragic death highlighted the dangers of controlling, obsessive behavior in relationships. Her family established the Emily Parker Foundation, dedicated to raising awareness about domestic violence and helping those trapped in toxic relationships. Her story serves as a powerful reminder of how easily a life can be cut short by one person's inability to let go of the past. Emily Parker's life, though brief, continues to inspire those who knew her. If you found Emily's story as heartbreaking as we did, make sure to like this video, subscribe for more true crime cases, and leave a comment below sharing your thoughts. Remember, stay sharp and stay vigilant.